Gonna show you how to deploy a Javalin app in this video onto Blossom. So to do that, we're gonna click on Docs. And under Docs, there's a bunch of quick starts. One of the quick starts is right here, the Javalin one. So click on that, and it tells you we're gonna go to actually Blossom now, the quick starts page, and then choose the Java app and click deploy. So let's click on that. You can see right there. That's where we want to click. Configure and deploy. So you click on that. And you can see right now it's pre-selected a demo cluster for us. So the demo cluster is something I actually pre-created is to make this video. And so I'm going to show it to you. It's basically a demo cluster running a Heroku. But if you click on Docs right here, you can see that you don't have to run a Heroku. You can run on any of these cloud providers here. Pretty much all the major cloud providers support it. You can even use your own data center and no cloud, essentially. And this cluster, what I did was I created the cluster on Heroku, and then basically I added one server to that has a load balancer and a web role. So what I did was I collapsed those roles together. So I'm running them together on one server. I'm doing this to save costs, if that's kind of your goal there. But if your goal is more scalability, then I recommend actually separating that out to separate servers. And you don't actually need a separate server for kind of each process is running. Processes are actually run with Docker containers, so you can scale the container level or the host level. It's kind of flexible in that way. But what I'm doing is I'm running one server right now for the sake of this demo. And what you can do is you can deploy multiple apps onto this. So I actually have a couple apps deployed onto this already. And with the apps, you can actually basically compact it even more and save even more money that way. I do actually recommend running a build server on a separate server because when you're building Docker images and the CPU is pretty intensive, and also the disk space actually uses up pretty quickly too. But yeah, it's kind of up to you how you want to use it. So that really explains the cluster there. Next is the app name here, and then the GitHub repository URL. So I'm going to click on that. And you're going to see that right here, Javalin tutorial right here. And then basically, it's just explaining how to build the app here if you kind of, I guess, want to do it locally. Now, I do want to point out, even though Blossom uses Docker images and Docker containers, look, there's no Docker file here. You don't need a Docker file. The Docker or the language and the framework is inferred from your code, and then Blossom would figure out what it needs to do in order to build the right Docker image and deploy it. Now, if you want your own custom Docker file, you can always add one, and then you can configure to deploy using that. So it just depends what you kind of need, but it's completely optional. Then now container registry. So you do have to choose a container registry, existing one to deploy to. I'm using Docker Hub in this case, but all the major container registries are supported, like ACR, GCR, ECR, and all that. Okay, let's click create app. And now we have this bouncy arrow right here telling us to click on this to deploy. So if we're looking at the dashboard here and clicking on the deploy button. And now the deploy has started, and you can see these are the logs right here. So it's basically saying it's going to use this as a build server, and this is the kind of the main log. The main log is like the cluster level log. It's showing all the commands that are going to be executed across all the fleet of servers on your cluster. We only have one for this demo, but you have more servers, and what it's going to do is it's going to show you all the commands running across all the servers, but it's not going to actually put all the output all here where it's kind of messy. You can actually see the more detailed logs on each server by clicking onto the individual server logs. So that's nice. It kind of keeps it nice and clean. Let's go back to the logs here, and let's go explore the dashboard a little bit so I can give you a little kind of guide on how this all works. So here's the dashboard here that we deployed earlier. And you can click on Git repo here, and you can see this is where the repo settings were configured by the quick start. And if you need a private repository, you just click on that, and then you can connect to your own Git provider or vendor here. It supports GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket. And the cool thing is once you connect to that, you can actually set up a CI/CD pipeline by just with a one button click also. And this is how you would actually enable private repositories. Next is Docker registries. So this is where you specify where to push your Docker image to. So you can see I'm just deploying to my Docker registry here on Docker Hub. And you can even kind of connect or link multiple registries in case you want to pull from Docker Hub and push to like ECR or something like that. Next is database. So this app does not have a database. It's just a very simple Javalin app. So we don't need one. And environment. There's no environment variables here too, but you can always add environmental variables, and then that would be environmental variables available to your app. Activity. This is essentially the app's deploy log. So you can see all the historical deploys right here. And then app logs. So once your app basically is deployed, then it's gonna actually start up a container, and then you're gonna see the app logs here, and it'll be all kind of live streamed here. So that's actually very useful for debugging, this is where we recommend you go if you need to debug your your app. You can see all essentially your logs being tailed right here, live streamed. Now we're gonna go back here, and you're gonna see that it's finished building the Java app here, and you can see basically push at the very end. It pushed up to the registry. Let's go back to the logs here, and you can see app deploy. So here it did a Docker compose up at the very end here. So pull the image that we deployed, and then it just uses Docker compose. So this is the beautiful thing. It's actually nice and simple. It's just Docker compose. So it's not too much to learn. Then manage a domain sync right here. This, what it does is it creates a short URL to make your app available immediately. And this is gonna have SSL or HTTP already baked in. So that's all done. And then it's gonna finally deploy the load balancer. Remember, I flattened this server to have the load balancer on the same server as basically the app. But you could again have separate app servers and separate load balancer servers. Okay, and now click on dashboard because it's done deploying. We're gonna click on view app. Once you see the view app here, you see the demo. Here, it's up and running already. You can see here it's just a little greeting generator. Click on that. It says hello and an echo service here, and you say hello echo. And you can see some links to more documentation and quick starts where you can learn even more. And that's how you deploy a Javalin app onto Blossom. Thanks.